Hey, millions of people are now getting their information about health, mental health from social media.
So this trend carries some risks. So joining us to talk about this, Washington Post reporter Tatum Hunter. Tatum, good morning.
Good morning.
So why is it that online creators are suddenly becoming therapists for so many?
It's a really complicated question. One factor is the lack of access to mental health care in the real world. It's expensive. A lot of people are uninsured. There's still stigma to seeking care. In a lot of areas in the US, there is a shortage of qualified professionals. But TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are there for everyone. And a lot of these creators are licensed mental health therapists or other types of experts, but a lot of them aren't. And it can be really tough for people of all ages to tell the difference.
So you make an excellent point there. What makes someone an expert on mental health instead of an influencer?
I love that question. And I feel like it's something that we're reassessing because for a long time, people have reported, especially women, people of color, and other marginalized groups have felt like traditional healthcare providers have dismissed and kind of shunted aside their concerns or even talked down to them and been condescending. So traditional experts make some people nervous, and that makes sense. But on the internet, you can present yourself as an expert when you really aren't, and you can also provide bad guidance and misinformation. So I think it's important to notice the downsides of both types of care and the really tough position that it puts creators and online audiences in.
Because there are advice columns and then there's actual therapy. So are there any safeguards in place for this kind of content?
Very few. Some professional organizations have issued social media guidelines for example, for professional therapists, but they're a little bit behind the times. They're thinking of social media more as a personal account and less as a creator economy, the way that it is today. So it's a kind of a game of hot potato as far as who's accountable if this content goes sideways, if someone gets hurt. It's not the platforms, it's not the creators, and it really shouldn't be audiences.
So, I do use TikTok. Something that is just really interesting to me, though, is if you're looking for community, if you're looking for connection, and you start liking some of these creators, you often see people post like crying, talking about the difficulties they're going through. Talk to me about the negative spiral that can send you into, because then that's all the content that you get.
Absolutely. And I think that's such an important point because the creators I spoke with cared so deeply about doing the right thing. And many of them were incredibly responsible and thoughtful. But the problem of receiving healthcare guidance on an algorithmic advertising platform is that no matter how responsible the first piece of content you view is, your interest in it triggers for you to see more. And there's no way to ensure that there aren't creators out there who are just looking to make a buck, promote themselves, or build a personal brand.
Any idea what we might see with mental health content in the future?
I hope that we see a shift in the way that we assess it. Obviously, it's not reasonable for young people, especially teenagers, to be going on Google Scholar and trying to validate, the claims that these creators are making. So I think that we really need psychoeducation from parents, from schools, from creators and platforms themselves to help young people assess, is this content encouraging me to get better? Or is it making me feel like I'm broken and my identity is being a person with mental illness or mental health struggles? That's kind of a refrain that I heard from some creators, that the goal should be to live a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled life. And if the mental health content you're consuming is telling you that other people are the problem, that you are broken and you're always the problem, that's a red flag.
That's very well said. Washington Post reporter Tatum Hunter, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, coming up this